My name is Nazatu Azwa binti Ilyas and my matrix number is 206963. So for the first section, I will represent about the executive summary. The purpose of this study is to monitor a pressure drop inside a vessel when the vessel is not in operation, so a worker can clean the vessel. However, the worker cannot open the vessel immediately after the vessel is switched off, since the remaining pressure inside is still very high. A pressure drop inside the vessel is defined in the case study given. For this case study, the problem can be solved by creating a flowchart of the program. The flowchart will turn into a program code in MATLAB, which is a computer system to solve the scientific problem. The program code will satisfy the requirement using the while and structure, where the program input will ask the worker to insert the current pressure of the vessel condition. The program will be given a selection of calculation of pressure that is between 10 bar to 50 bar and the selection of pressure that is higher than 50 bar. The output of the program will calculate the time taken in seconds is needed to be determine the drop of pressure to less than 10 bar, so the vessel is ready to be opened and cleaned by the worker.
Hi, my name is Omshipe with metric number 205628, and I will be the next presenter to present the introduction of our group mini project. The topic of our mini project is oil pump, and oil pump is also known as Elias guinesis, which is the specific name of the oil pump. And as we all know, oil pump is originated from West Africa, and it is the first ornamental plant which introduced to Malaysia in 1870. So the oil palm is introduced due to the purpose of eradicate poverty and also to raise the standard of living among the population in Malaysia at that time. So since 1960s, the planted area of oil palm has increased rapidly due to its profit. So the oil palm oil is used to produce primary product and also the secondary product from the raw material, which is the palm fruit. So the primary products produced is the crude palm oil and also the kernels, while the secondary products is the biomass. There are 8 operation sections in the process of production of palm oil. So each of the section will be explained further in the next few slides. The figure shown in these slides is showing the flow of the palm oil mulling process. And now we will explain each of the section of the production of palm oil. So the first section is the reception of raw materials. So the raw materials, which is the raw palm fruit, will be collected in the planted area, and it will be stored in the palm fruit slope as shown after weight. Next, the raw palm fruit will be enter the sterilization section, and it will be sealed and sterilized in the sterilizer, and in order to prevent the enzyme decomposition. Next, the palm fruit and also the kernel will be separated in the fruit threshing sections, and they are separated by the strong vibration in the threshing machine. Next, the fruit will be enter the pressing sections. So the palm fruit will be steamed and also to be heated in a high pressure vessel in order to soften the fruit and destroy the palm cells. Then after the pressing process, the oil water mixture will be obtained and they will enter the oil purification section in order to obtain a high quality of palm oil, and the press cake will be crushed and recovered by the screw conveyor. Next, the oil the oil mixture will enter the oil clarification section. So the oil and the sediment will be obtained through the sedimentation, filtration, precipitation, and clarification process. So after this process, the oil will be stored after vacuum drying and it will become solid, while the sediment will be clarified for the second time to obtain the excess oil. So next, the press cake will enter the separation system after crush, and the separated fibers will be sent to the boiler to heat it and used as fuel, while the stone will be transported as storage in the warehouse. Next, the palm kernels will be softened, and also the shell of the fruit will be crushed in the kernel recycling section. So the crushed shell will be stored and also used as the fuel, while the palm core will be dried and also stored in the warehouse. The last section is the refining and sub-extraction section. So the crude palm oil will be refined and also sub-extracted in the kernel in order to obtain a high quality of palm oil. So the purpose of palm refining is to remove the impurities in the oil, while the fractionation is used to separate the soft fat and the hard fat in the oil. So from the question of our mini project, as we all know, before the pressing section, the palm fruit is needed to be heated in a high pressure vessel in order to eliminate the bacteria and also to soften the fruit in order to obtain the oil easily. So after the steaming process, the workers in the industry are required to clean the kernel in order to make sure the quality of the oil produced. So, but the high pressure in the vessel are preventing the workers to clean the vessel. So we as an engineer are required to monitor the pressure drop in the vessel when the vessel is stopped functioning. And also we are required to create a program code to determine the duration of time needed for the pressure in the vessel to drop under certain conditions. And this can, so that the workers can clean the vessel. So these are the problem statement of our mini project. Next, I will explain about the theoretical background of our mini project. So first, we need to know what is MATLAB. So MATLAB is also known as Metric Laboratory, which is a computer system used by engineers and scientists in order to solve their problem. So MATLAB is used to analyze data, to develop algorithms, to create models and application, and also the most important thing is to solve the engineering and also the scientific problems. So next, we need to know how to enter a specific value for the input variable. So of course, we need to use input command. So the format is variable name equal input open bracket apostrophe message that is displayed in the command window apostrophe close bracket. So the way to use the command is shown in the example below. So next, there are a few ways to display the output in MATLAB. So first, we can use the output command. So the format is display, open bracket, variable, close bracket. So the example below shows that the X is the input, while the Y is the output. So to display the Y as the output, we need to put in the output command with display, open bracket, Y, close bracket. So we can see that in the command window, the Y is displayed as the output. Next, we also can use fprintf command to display output. So the format is shown in the slide, which it contains the escape character, the spot where the number is inserted within the text, the fill width and the precision, and the conversion character. So all this can replace or can exchange, or we can edit it in order to fulfill the needs. Okay, so for example, when we need to display the output in a sentence, which is the value of y is the answer and then meter. So when we need to display the output in such a sentence, we need to use fprintf, but not the display output command. So next, when we need to display the output in a table form, we need to use the table command. So the format is table, open angle bracket, x apostrophe, y apostrophe, close angle bracket. So the x and the y are the names of the variable for output, and the apostrophe is used to generate the x and the y values in the column form. So in the example shown below, we use the table command to display the x value in the first column, while the y column is the second column. The y value is the second column. And next, in the MATLAB, when we need to create a program for the process of control flow, we need to use the conditional statement. So the conditional statement in the MATLAB is used for the computer to decide whether the program needs to execute the next command or need to skip the command. So in the conditional statement, we need to do the comparison of two different variables, and it is determined by the relational and the logical operators. And the loop is one of the method to execute multiple codes in the conditional statements. And the relational and logical operators, and also the loop, will be explained further in the next slide. So the relational operators can define the relationship between two or more entities for a comparison statement. So for the result of the comparison statement, the number 1 means true, while the 0 means false. So the figure below shows the type of relational operators. So there are less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. And next, the logical operators are the arithmetic operators within a mathematical expression for the purpose of controlling the flow of the program. So normally, the operands is in the form of numbers, and non-zero numbers are true, while the zero numbers are false. So there are 3 logical operators that we can use in the MATLAB, which is AND, OR, and NOT. So next, let us talk about loop. Loop is a method to execute a block of code in the multiple times. So a loop consists of 2 parts, which are condition and the body. Condition can be any valid value or expression, and it is used to control the loop, whether it should stop or continue. For body, it can be 1 or more valid statements, and it will execute repeatedly by checking the condition, and it will become an iteration. So the flowchart of a loop is shown in the figure on the right. For while and loop, it is a type of loop also, and it is a preconditioned loop, which means that the body in the loop will execute it after the condition is checked. So if the condition is false in the first iteration, and the body will not execute it even once. So the looping process will continue until the stated condition is satisfied. So for the conditional expression, it must contain at least one variable, and the variable must be assigned to a new value. So the format or the ways to put in the while and loop is shown in the figure on the top.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Balkis binti Muhammad Yazid. And my metric number is 207792. And I will continue the presentation with analysis and results for our case study mini project. Okay, so we'll look here from the question. They already provide us P equal to P minus 10, T equal to T plus 2, all the pressure drop, and the time taken to reduce the pressure, and the option that's needed to use when we will perform the coding. So first question that they want us to solve is to create a flow chart of the solution, flow chart of the solution. So we will look at the flow chart first. Right. So, all right. Okay. The flow chart will begin with the we'll start, and then here is the input of the question with which is the current pressure condition, where we'll put our input here, and then this is the option given, which is if P larger than or equal to 15 bar. If yes, we will get the output here, which is the result of this option. If no, there will be going to the second option, which is if P minus if P less or equal than 50 and P larger or equal than 10. If the condition meet with the options, it will go to the result. Okay. So if no, it will be at the end here. Okay. So next we will see the next question, which is create a program coding to satisfy requirements using the while and. Okay. After that, you will have to provide an output information to the worker saying that the time needed second to drop their pressure to less than 10 bar, what the pressure it is. So, I'm sorry. This is for the B question, where they want us to find the coding. So for the this is for the coding one. Okay, here is for the coding one, where first we will nyatakan display mini project for the case study where will much easier for us to recognize which question it is. Okay, then P equal to input. This is for the input, the current pressure condition in bar, and T equal to 0. And then we will start with while P, we will put the option here. P larger equal than 50. So this is the information that already given in the question, and we will put it here, which is this is here. And then to plot it in the table, we will use table equal to T and P, and then we display T second and P bar and display the table. Okay, this and we use N to close the option. And then for the second option, which is while P larger than 10 and P smaller than 50. Okay, this is the value that will equation that will given in the question here. Okay, and then this is for to plot the table. Okay, this is display the second MP bar and display the table. So at the end, and finally this is f print f for the time second is needed to drop is less than 10 bar. This is for this one. After that, you will have to provide output information. This is for the output information here. F print f. Okay, we will have to provide the output information. So we will use this one. This f print f, the time I second is needed to drop pressure to less than 10 bar watt a second watt bar. Okay. So when we run it, okay, at the command window, okay, this is what we display here. We will go and so the current condition in bar, for example, we put this 67. So it will pop up like the table. It will list down all possible answer. All right. So the output information that was given if the current pressure is 67 bar is the time 44 seconds is needed to drop pressure to less than 10 bar, which is 7 bar. All right. That's all for analysis and result. I'll pass the presentation to my other roommates. Thank you.
Next, I will talk about a recommendation about the current and future application of program code in industry and also in real life. So first, let us talk about the current application of program code. The first application is we can use the program code in the big data industry. So we can use program code to design a program to collect data from all over the world. For example, the scientific research or the scientific data from experiments. And then we can conduct a numerical and statistical analysis by using the program code. Okay, for example, we use the program code in the Hive, Spark, and SQL. So by using program code in big data, we can understand about the future population trend and also the social behavior. Next, program code also used in logistics services. So we can use the program codes, okay, to create the algorithm to calculate the shortest route and the most efficient way to deliver the goods from one place to another place. And thus, it can lower the cost of logistic operation. Next, we use program code also in the automotive industry. So we can use the codes to interpret the data and also to control the machine in the automotive industry. And we can control it to perform and function depend on the circumstances. And the machine can actually replace human and it can work more efficient as we can just control it by using the program code. For example, the robotic arms and the processing lines. And next, program code also widely used in our real life. For example, smart oven, traffic light, and self-driving cars. So for smart oven, we can set the timer for preheating and also we can use the mobile apps to start or stop the oven. And we can use program code to calculate cars and pedestrian present and also to adapt the changes in traffic flow by using the program code in traffic light. And also we use program code to control the self-driving cars. For example, it can recognize things like pedestrian and lane lines, and it can also park on their own successfully. So next, the future application of the program code. First, it is the quantum computer. So quantum computer is a computer that uses the quantum physics to store data and also to perform computations. So it is used to solve the problems that are too complex, which can be done by the classical computer. And it also requires less power and thus lower the cost. And also, the most important thing, a quantum computer can execute tasks very, very fast and very, very accurately compared to a classical computer. So that's why program code can be used in the quantum computer. And for example, Volkswagen, already use the quantum computer for the citywide traffic management. Next, we also use program code in artificial intelligence, and we can use program code to design a program to support the developers to optimize the software workflow. And the AI can be performed tasks that require human intelligence and discernment, and at the end, it can actually replace the human to do work. And next, it can improve the project planning and it can do the smart decision making.
In discussions, what we had is, in this case study, we observed that to solve this problem is by creating a flowchart for the program. The flowchart shows how the commands are typed in the program and symbolically shows the flow or the sequence in which the commands are executed. In while and loops, the number of passes is not specified when the looping process starts. Instead, the looping process continues until a stated condition is satisfied. The first line is a while statement that includes a conditional expression. When the program reaches this line, the conditional expression is checked. The conditional expression in this command must include at least one variable. The variables in the conditional expression must have assigned values when MATLAB executes the while command for the first time. At least one of the variables in the condition expression must be assigned a new value in the commands that are between the while and the end. Otherwise, once the looping starts, it will never stop since the conditional expression will remain true. When writing a while and loop, we have to be sure that the variables that are in the conditional expression are assigned new values during the looping process will eventually be assigned values that make the conditional expression in the while command false. Otherwise, the looping will continue indefinitely in indefinite loop. For example, if the conditional expression is changed to pressure P more than 50, the looping will continue indefinitely. Such a situation can be avoided by counting the passes and stopping the looping if the number of passes exceeds some large value. This can be done by adding the maximum number of passes to the conditional expression or by using the break command. Since no one is free from making mistakes, a situation of indefinite looping can occur in spite of careful programming, and if this happens, the user can stop the execution of an indefinite loop by pressing Ctrl+C or Ctrl break keys.
Hi, my name is Balkis, and I will continue our group presentation for the conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, for the main point for the whole case study is the usage of the while in loop in any type of situation in industrial or real life. Okay, so what is the while loop? Okay, the while loop is used to repeat a section of a code in an unknown number of times until a specific condition is met. Okay. So the main characteristic is that it will repeat a series of instructions based on a condition. The code inside the loop will keep running as long as the loop produces a Boolean value of true. When the coding seems to be indefinite, usually the while loop will be used to solve the problems, to get the definite solution. So the important rules that that need to be remembered are that it's really important to set a certain condition to false in order to stop the while loop from the running indefinitely. So to make it easier to memorize how to make the while loop function properly, which is that while common condition phrase must include at least one variable. Okay. Other than that, when for the first time you're using the while loop, you need to make sure that the variables in the condition expression must have the values assigned to them. Okay, and also in the comments between the while and the end of the loop, at least have one variables in the condition expression must be assigned a new value. Otherwise, once the looping begins, it will never end since the conditional statement remains true. Thus, this is how we should, how convenient for the coding. If we form by forming the while loop, which is a way to find the indefinite problem with a definite solution. All right, that's all from us. Thank you so much for hearing our presentation. See you next time. Thank you.